So E3 has come and gone, and I've seen a lot of the big Destiny YouTubers that went to E3 and played the TTK DLC talk about how awesome it is and how much fun they're having and how they can't wait for the full release later on in a couple of months. And when I saw this on Twitter and YouTube, I had some deja vu from back when these same YouTubers went to Bungie to play the House of Wolves, and that's when I realized how full of shit these people are. I don't mean to say that these guys are straight up lying to you, because they're not. What they're doing is much more subtle, but just as devious. And I realized this yesterday when I was watching a B Dobbins video, and he talked about how the COD YouTubers go to these events and they play the DLC and the games early, and then when they come back and they talk about it, they exaggerate the good things in the game, no matter how small of an improvement it is, and then they downplay all of the negatives, no matter how bad those things are. For example, even if you don't follow Call of Duty, I'm sure many of you heard how much of a failure Call of Duty Ghosts was, and it really hurt the franchise. Now, how many of those COD YouTubers came back and warned the fan base about how bad this game would have been? None of them. They all hyped that game up and didn't say shit to their subscribers about how bad it was and how slow it was going to be. And I feel the same way about the Destiny YouTubers. All of these guys went to the event at Bungie and they played Prison of Elders, and they all told us how fun it is and how it's gonna be so good for replayability, and we're gonna be playing this for months. It's gonna last way longer than a raid. I don't know about you guys, but I am fucking sick of Prison of Elders, man. That shit is so repetitive. You just go and hide in one corner. You know, each area has its own corner that you can hide and camp in, and then you kill enemies as they come. And then when you have the objective, you send a Titan or a Hunter out, they get it done, they come back to the camp spot, and they continue. That's pretty much Prison of Elders in a nutshell. Now, I'm a big picture kind of guy, and overall, that's the Prison of Elders experience. If you're a details kind of guy, I'm sure you find a lot more differences, and you might enjoy it a little bit more than me, but overall, it's the same shit. Camp in a corner and kill the bad guys, because if you go out into the middle, you probably will piss your fire team off, and I don't like doing that. Also, something else to consider. Why do all the Prison of Elders weapons suck ass? I'm pretty sure I remember them saying that they completed the level 34 prison, so they probably had a chance to see some of the weapons and probably look at the perks. Why didn't any of them warn us that these weapons would be useless outside of an elemental burn? Because of Shank Burn and Dreg Burn. Why the fuck did nobody warn us about Shank Burn and Dreg Burn? I don't give a shit about any of these weapons because I don't want these silly little burns on them. I want an actual perk and then maybe Shank Burn as a bonus. That'd be fine with me. Similarly to how the Crow's End weapons had Hive Disruptor as a bonus perk. But nope, they didn't warn us about that. And you know, I knew that this would happen at some point in the Destiny YouTube community, because Activision is behind it, and you know, they're gonna fly people out, they're gonna give them early access to DLC and the games and whatnot, so this would have happened at some point. But goddamn, I didn't realize it was gonna happen within the first fucking year of this shit. And I want you guys to know that I'm not speaking from a point of jealousy here. I'm not jealous of them getting flown out to these events. I know it might sound that way, but I don't like Bungie and I don't want to be in cahoots with Bungie, so I really don't care about that. I'm speaking to you guys from a point of feeling betrayed and feeling scammed and duped, you know? I bought the House of Wolves and I barely spend any time on it anymore because I'm just so bored with it. There's just nothing for me to do. I'm not too much of a PvP guy, and I don't really have a good PvP squad to run in Trials. I'm sure Trials is a lot of fun. I'm not hating on Trials at all, and the loot is sweet as fuck in Trials. So if I was a PvP player, I'd be a little bit happier right now. But as a PvE player, there's just nothing to do. I don't want to do Prison because it's boring for me. I don't like the Skolas fight. I don't really care for the mechanics too much. It just seems more of an annoyance than anything else. Please do chime in and let me know how you guys feel about the Prison of Elders bosses. I know I like Quodron, but for the most part, I don't like these bosses. They're not fun to me. They're not like the raids were, you know? And also, speaking of the raids, I heard a lot of Destiny YouTubers say, oh, you know, it sucks we're not getting a raid, but I think that the prison is gonna offer more replayability than a raid. Bullshit. I don't buy that for a second. Maybe that might be true for you because this is subjective, but I don't find that the Prison of Elders is more replayable than the raids. I barely play prisons anymore because it's just hordes of enemies, and then yeah, you get a modifier here and there, but how much does that really change? Seriously, does it really change the strategy? At the end of the day, you're gonna camp in a corner, and if you have a burn, you'll switch up weapons and use that element just so you can get the extra damage, but there's not much of a difference. The only difference is the mechanics that the bosses sometimes have. That's cool and everything. Sometimes. I think Skolas is annoying, like I said. But yeah, man, it's just the same shit over and over again. It doesn't offer replayability. I don't understand what they were talking about. It was a load of shit. Alright, anyways, so what I'm trying to tell you guys is, I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy the Taken King. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. What I'm saying is, don't rely on the words of these YouTubers because they're not really true. You can watch their videos. I'm not saying not to watch them, and I'm not saying unsubscribe to them or anything like that. You can still watch their videos. I will too, because they're pretty much the only source of information you're going to be getting aside from these interviews with Bungie employees, but you know, that's pretty much the same shit. So if you want to get any type of truth out from these Destiny YouTubers, this is what I recommend doing. You can watch their video and just do what they do, but backwards. Instead of downplaying weaknesses and exaggerating the strengths, do the opposite of that. When they hype up a certain part of the DLC, downplay it, because it's probably not going to be that good. It'll probably be good, but not that good. So downplay it a little bit. And when you hear them briefly mention something negative, exaggerate it, because it's probably going to be more of a problem than they're letting on. And also, even after you do that, you're not guaranteed to know the truth about this DLC, because sometimes they just flat out don't talk about certain things, or Bungie just doesn't show them certain things. For example, if you were looking for some story in the House of Wolves, you were shit out of luck because there was no story. Even though they said themselves that they were going to give us a fresh take on storytelling. Yeah, my ass! Now let me remind for a second. Let's pretend that this video got like 1 million, 2 million views, whatever. The whole Destiny community saw it. I'm sure some people would agree with me, but then I'm sure I would get thousands of people hating on me and clicking the dislike button and leaving nasty comments defending these YouTubers. You gotta ask yourself, why would you do that? I know it's because they probably trust those YouTubers and they don't want to hear criticisms about them. But do you really think those YouTubers care for you? When these YouTubers go to these events, when they get flown out to Bungie to play DLC early and get exclusive footage for their channels, they are not gonna bite the hand that feeds them. That helps them out tremendously, and it also helps out Bungie. They are in cahoots. They care for one another. Those Destiny YouTubers, they don't necessarily hate you guys, but you are not their priority. If they have to tell some white lies, they have to exaggerate some things, they have to downplay some things, they'll fucking do it. They don't care about the quality of the information that much, that they won't sacrifice anything for you guys. They will fib to you just enough to make the DLC sound good, sound enticing, so that the DLC sales keep going up, so that Bungie keeps inviting them back because it's an effective marketing strategy. And also, a lot of these channels are built on Destiny, and if they're out here saying, you know, these DLCs suck and they're not worth the money and blah blah blah, and they're telling you the truth about it, if they told us the truth that the Prison of Elders was going to be some repetitive shit, that would hurt them too, because if people stop playing Destiny, people are going to stop watching their videos, and they don't necessarily want that. Of course not, right? So the take home is, anytime you watch videos from these big YouTubers, take it with a grain of salt. A big ass grain of salt. And whatever you do, for fuck's sake, do not get on the hype train, because these motherfuckers are the conductors. That's it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to smash that like button. If you're not feeling too shy, drop a comment down below and let me know what you think about these bullshit ass Destiny YouTubers who are kind of sort of lying to us. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But that's all for me. Over, man. Out.